Hey everyone, I'm the Chosen One Legend here with my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascarine.
And welcome to our podcast BunchaJokahs, where we talk about all sorts of Nintendo news, and we actually have some this month.
Whey!
Finally! Man,
man.
Of course there was the big blowout of Mario's 35th anniversary, lots of stuff announced, and we actually, it's been rumoured, so we pushed recording the podcast back a little bit, and we made the right choice.
Yeah, it's by 1 day, wasn't it? So
yeah, I mean,
close.
if we'd recorded when we first planned, we would have actually been filming it as it released, literally at the same time, so
Yeah.
would have been tight.
Yeah, for sure,
But-
for sure.
So yeah, we're of course we're going to talk about that, but that's going to be at the end of the podcast in its own section because there's quite a lot of stuff they announced. There will be, of course, timestamps in the description below if you do want to jump around. But there's actually quite a few other little tidbits throughout the month as well we'll talk about, so should be a good podcast.
Yeah, sounds good. It's good to finally have some news in there that's going to be something to talk about, because we haven't had that for a while.
Instead, we just rehash Xenoblade every podcast, but
Hey, I don't have a problem with that. Just saying.
if it works, you know. But on that note, let's get on to our first section of the podcast. Can't have a podcast about news, baby. I really need to get rid of these stupid names. But where we talk about the past month of gaming, and we're going to start things off with a pretty big deal. Actually, is that on the 5th of, I always forget the month, August. That's it. The 5th of August. That Nintendo randomly announced on Twitter Pikmin 3 Deluxe coming to Switch end of October.
Ooh, nice.
And of course, Kai, you're the Pikmin guy, so I'll let you take this.
Yes, I am very glad that, Nintendo's been releasing everything from the Wii U onto the Switch because the Switch kind of flopped and there were some genuinely good games on there.
The Wii U flopped, you mean?
Yeah, the Wii U flopped, yeah, sorry, my bad. And yeah, one of those games was Pikmin 3. Pikmin is a series that needs a new game, to be honest, but I'll take a deluxe in the meantime, you know?
I mean, it was meant to have a new game like 5 years ago or something, so...
It was.
Yeah.
So, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, the things I remember most prominently about the updates is that, first off, there's going to be a new, a prologue and an epilogue story, right?
Yeah, revolving around Olimar and Louis.
Yeah. So throughout the game, you get these data files that, are from Olimar and Louis, and, it hints that they've been on their adventure at the same time. And if you complete every secret file in the game, and you collect all 10 of them, you could actually go online and get a code that would show you like a small preview of Olimar and Louis' adventure. But, it was nothing more than just like a little Easter egg. But now the fact that, that might be fleshed out a little bit more into like a real bit of gameplay is going to be really fun. It'll be really good to see what they do, and I hope that they increase the difficulty as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool idea of adding new content, sort of in the style of Future Connected, which did that as well. It's sort of becoming a bit of a trend. And I am just saying we did mention that in our direct predictions, actually, the possibility.
We did.
We were far from the first people to mention that, so I can't take credit, but... but yeah, there's also, of course, co-op they added for the main campaign.
Yes, that was the other thing,
neat.
yeah. And that's going to be good because in Pikmin 3, you take control of 3 different characters normally, Alf, Brittany and Charlie. And part of the fun is multitasking all 3 of them. But at the same time, there's a certain charm to having, 3 characters in the game, but then you have maybe someone who's a bit more experienced take 2 of the captains, and then the other one can go off and do something else if they're learning the game or something like that. And it's a really good way to get more people into the series, because you can have one person who, maybe knows what they're doing a bit more and can re-enjoy the game like myself, and then you can have a second person who wants to get into it maybe and try it out, see how it goes.
Yeah, and that's probably where I'm going to fall, because I've only played a bit of Pikmin 1, and I quite enjoyed the general gameplay of it. I found the day system quite intimidating in the original Pikmin.
You'll be pleased to know that in 2 there is no day system, and in 3 it's very relaxed. It's very easy to deal with.
It's basically non-existent from what I've seen. You're not going to have any problems with it. So
yeah, you'll never have problems with that.
Yeah. So that definitely does open it up a bit more for me, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get it at launch. I would have been more likely, but after the Mario drop big blowout,
yeah,
I've got some other stuff to get, but it's definitely one I'm interested in. And it's great that they're giving people more of a chance to try out this series, because on the Wii U, like you said, it's not going to reach its full potential there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to let people get into the gameplay. I'm curious on how the the actual controls are going to work, because I used to play it a lot with the gamepad and the stylus. But outside of that, I think it'll be really fun. I think it'll be really, really good to get onto the Switch, because I'm actually going to be losing access to my Wii U in a couple of weeks anyway, so I can still play my precious Pikmin.
Of course.
So it's really good, actually. And I guess the other thing with two-player is it'll introduce some interesting things in terms of speedrunning, I feel like.
Oh, yeah. That opens up a whole new can of worms, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds really fun to me. So.
I wonder if there's any online component to that or not, because I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
But as we'll get into later, apparently there is in the 3D World remaster. So it's possible, but I don't expect it. That would be cool, though.
Yeah. There's always the potential, but still though, I mean, Pikmin 3 on the Switch, it's a step in the right direction. It shows that they still know it exists, and it's not going to be getting like the F-Zero or Kid Icarus treatment. So,
and if we believe hard enough, one day we'll get Hey Pikmin on the Switch too. So,
I just want Pikmin 4, man. It's been 4 years. Come on, please, Nintendo.
I think it's got to happen at some point, especially if this does well. But
yeah,
they've got to be sitting on something that they've had.
Yeah, for sure.
But moving on from that, because I'm sure Kai could talk about that for the entire podcast.
Yeah.
We've got 2 bits of non-Nintendo news. We're just going to very briefly skim over, because we're not particularly Sony or Microsoft fans. So.
Right.
But I will mention that on the 6th of August, there was a Sony State of Play, but it was mostly focusing on PS4 games. Like they showed off some more Crash Bandicoot and stuff. So it wasn't really any big news or anything exciting, just if you're a Sony fan, that was probably cool for you.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch it myself, so I'm not entirely sure on what happened in the display, but, Crash Bandicoot is a pretty popular series. So,
yeah, I mean, I think you were streaming when it happened, so I just sort of had it on in the background.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so it was basically showing off more gameplay, and I mean, we complained about Microsoft's thing, or I did last month, not showing enough gameplay. So that's good that they're doing that. So
yeah, it shows that even though they didn't do it at first, like they know what they're doing with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can kind of trust them to bring on a good showcase in the end.
But moving on to a little bit of a sadder news story, is on the 11th, it was announced that Halo Infinite has been delayed till 2021, and
yeah,
that's kind of a knock against the Series X and everything. It's going to be tough for Halo fans.
It feels bad for Halo fans, but delays always happen. So
yeah,
I guess I mean, in a way, it should be seen as a good thing in a couple of ways. Like if a game's going to be delayed, it means that they're looking on improving it and that kind of thing, and it'll come out eventually.
Yeah, there's that classic Miyamoto quote, I think it is, about delayed game eventually good, rushed game forever bad, and that's definitely true. So if it needed the time, and people were complaining that it looked a bit rough, so if it needs that time, it's absolutely the right decision. It's just unfortunate for the Series X launch that it's not going to coincide with that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. That might hurt sales a little bit, but hopefully it'll be worth it.
Yeah, and to be fair also, Microsoft aren't going all in with Series X like Sony are with the PS5. They've got a lot of other things, like they're moving on to PC more now as well, so they're not putting all their eggs in one basket there. Plenty of opportunities still, so...
Of course, yeah.
But moving back to news that we actually have better rights to talk about because we actually understand it. On the 18th, there was a Nindies World presentation, and it was actually pretty good, I thought.
So it was another partner showcase like the other one that we had issues
not
with,
the partner showcase. That comes up later.
This is the other one. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, the indie game. So they showed off stuff like A Short Hike, Raji, an ancient epic, Untitled Goose Game co-op. So some cool stuff there. Anything stand out to you?
Well, overall, I've always watched the Nindies Directs, but I've never paid too much attention. But I thought, I'll give this one another try as per usual. And I think it was one of the best ones we've had yet. Like, something about it just was really good to me. you know, I know you'll probably end up talking about A Short Hike a fair bit. But,
I will.
Yeah. But, you know, overall, there were none others that, like, really, really stood out to me. But there were a couple, I forget the name of the one where you kind of make a dungeon for your little brother or something like that.
Oh, yes, yeah. I know what one you mean, yeah.
Yeah, there was ones like that. There were a couple of other ones that had really distinct art styles and gameplay mechanics. And just the entire set was really, really solid.
It was, yeah. It's one of them showcases where often in these Nindies it sort of starts off, you sort of get a big drop like, you know, Cuphead coming to Switch, but then there's a lot of middling stuff in the middle, but whereas this one didn't have anything as huge as Cuphead or Cadence of Hyrule announcement, it had probably the most consistent lineup of indie games we've seen, where they, even if I'm not going to get them personally, they all looked interesting to me, so...
I think consistent is the way to put it, yeah, like that was such a... It was such a decent selection overall. Like every game there looked appealing in one way or another, whereas a lot of the time they're quite hit or miss. Like this was just overall a very good standard. So.
Yeah, all it was missing was, you know, John Cena game, but besides that, you know,
oh yeah, there was no WWE
contender
announced during it, was there?
No, yeah.
Never mind then, it's bad. It's bad.
No, terrible, worst direct ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, some cool stuff there, and. Obviously, I did get A Short Hike, which I'll talk about when we mention games we played. I also want to mention, I really want to try out Untitled Goose Game, and the co-op is just an even bigger selling for me, so...
That'll be fun,
that game looks amazing. And it's the kind of thing I could even... My family don't play games, but I think any one of my family members could get behind just playing as a goose and annoying people, so...
Yeah, it's got that element of simplicity to it. All you do is walk around, I think you can grab things and you just... Yeah, that's all it is, you quack.
I mean, you know, I'm the master of annoying people, so it's my kind of game, as Kai can vouch for, so...
I can agree with that one, yeah.
Yeah, all in all, a very good presentation.
Yeah.
So the next thing I have to mention is... kind of a different bit. On the 24th, or around then, rumours started popping up about a Switch Pro coming out in 2021. Now, I don't usually touch upon rumours, especially when this has been rumoured a lot, but it's something we haven't actually talked about, the possibility of a Switch Pro. So I wanted to get your thoughts on, do you think one was coming, or would you want to get one?
If there was a Switch Pro, I think it'd be interesting. And this is providing that all the same games are available on both, right? Just to make sure.
I would assume so, yeah.
Okay.
I guess potentially they could have an exclusive like Xenoblade Chronicles for the new 3DS.
But
I'm not sure if they would do that again, so... Right.
I mean, I've never really been one to buy the, like, pro versions of consoles, the improved versions, because I'm not a huge, like... you know, geek about sort of frame rate and loading times, all of that. I've never been too bothered. But I wouldn't say it's like a bad idea. You know, all it does is give an extra option for those who want those kind of things to be the case. So I wouldn't have a problem with it existing, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I think that it's one of them things where I'd have to see exactly what it was to know whether or not I'd buy it. The only one I did buy was the new 3DS, which turned out very well for me because it got me into Xenoblade, so I can't... I'm the exact same, man. I only bought the new 3DS to play Xenoblade.
Yes, so if they release, I don't know, a Switch Pro with an exclusive Xenoblade X port...
then I get it.
I mean, I don't want them to do that, but... but yeah, there's potential for something good there, and I guess with... new variations of, the new generations coming out for Sony and Microsoft, it would be a good time to say, hey, we've got a bit more power on our side too now, so yeah, it could work out. It's just a matter of if it actually happens, because we've had this rumor going for about a year now, so
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. But moving on the 26th, this is when we got the Partner Showcase Direct Mini, which it was better than the last one, I think.
Yeah, I was happy with this one purely because it was much better compared to last time.
I think it was about 15 minutes. It felt like they had enough stuff to show off this time, whereas the last one was like, why are you bothering? Here they actually had a decent amount of games, even if they weren't amazing. So
yeah, and even then, like, I was just happy that it felt more solid overall this time round with the selection they chose and just having that quantity there. And honestly, I think they should have just, instead of doing that first one, they should have just put that as part of the second one, and it would have been great. I would have genuinely been happy with it. So
I don't know why they didn't really. I mean, besides, I think the first Cadence of Hyrule DLC came out before then, so maybe that's why. But
that would make sense.
I don't know. I feel like some of this stuff could have even maybe been in the early one. It's not, a lot of it's not coming out anytime soon, but
potentially,
who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on behind the scenes?
Yeah, it was a step in the right direction nonetheless. So that's a good sign compared to what happened last time.
Yeah, some decent games like that Kingdom Hearts rhythm game, which that's going to be appealing to Kingdom Hearts fans, you know.
Yeah, I still can't believe it's canon.
Yeah. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts will never cease to amaze me with that kind of thing. But we also saw Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, so if you're a puzzle game fan, that's quite a good get. So
that was definitely a surprise to me. I didn't think they'd release it so early.
No, me neither. And you know, I'm not sure how much it really adds from the first one, but I mean, if you're a fan of those kind of games, you're gonna grab a second one, aren't you? So
I suppose so. Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, I've had enough of being destroyed at Tetris 99 personally. We've both been shamed together, publicly shamed on your streams.
It's a good thing there's no kind of like Mario game of a similar essence.
Oh, thank goodness, Kai. I mean, could you imagine that? But yeah, that was not a bad showing, and we are getting more of those this year. So hopefully, they'll continue to stay at this level or continue to get even better.
Yeah.
But the last bit of news I have is on the 27th. There was a Gamescom presentation, which had various bits that I don't really have much to say on because I didn't really watch much of it, to be honest. So I'm going to be passing over a lot of like Sony stuff and Microsoft stuff that was said. But I do want to mention they showed off a Lego Star Wars trailer.
Knock yourself out. Go for it.
You know, Kai, I'm going to resist myself before we end up like what happened with SpongeBob last month. But but yeah, they just showed off some kind of gameplay. It was all very zoomed in, so the camera was restricted, so we can't really get a good enough tell of what's happening. But it looked fun. It looked to be following after the Lego Force Awakens gameplay, which I liked quite a lot personally. And it has that classic Lego humour. It has got voice acting in there, but it still mixes it in with some good visual gags that the originals had, like fishing up Vader's body in one scene. So that's kind of funny, you know. It's they've definitely got that style of humour still. I believe you said you might get this.
Yeah, so I played, I think it was Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga on the PS3, I think it was.
That was a game that released.
So I played that, so I've got a little bit of experience with that, but I'm not huge on Lego nor Star Wars. But regardless, that trailer looked really good. Like, I don't know if it's the quality of Lego games has always been that good recently, but this looked stunning. Like, the visuals were really good. Not quite, level of sort of the Lego movie type stuff, because those graphics were like immense. But it wasn't far off. And the voice acting didn't seem bad. The gameplay, I'm sure, is going to be fun too. Like, it actually looks very good.
It does, yeah. And thing on the voice acting, what's interesting is they all seem to be new voice actors. None of the original cast seem to be returning, from what I can tell. But it took me a second watch to realise that. So they're doing a pretty good job with it. Seems like they've been cast well.
Yeah, that's a good sign as well, yeah.
And, it's not coming out till spring 2021, which is later than I thought. But, if they're going to spend time to make this a great game, I can't complain. And they also announced expansion packs coming out featuring characters from the anthology movie, so Rogue One and Solo, as well as The Mandalorian and some other of the TV shows. So that's, as me, who's a big geek for that kind of expanded universe stuff, I'm going to have to get that.
Fair enough. It definitely does look worthwhile. So yeah, go for it.
So that was the main thing. They also did show off a bit of some other Star Wars stuff, like the Squadrons game, which looks cool, and a Sims expansion for some reason.
I mean, there are a lot of Sims fans out there, so...
There are, so I mean, we know someone who's going to get it and has not tried out Star Wars. So, if this is a gateway for more people to get into Star Wars, can't complain.
Yeah. It definitely does seem that way. It does seem like it's appealing enough for anyone to join in to play LEGO Star Wars.
Yeah, plus it's Disney and EA working together, so, money.
Of course. I can't wait for DLC Jar Jar.
Oh, yeah. Is it bad that I'd buy that?
Oh, no.
But let's end this, because this is not a Star Wars podcast as much as I might like it to be in my heart. So that's pretty much all the news we have, except the Mario stuff we'll get to later. So let's move on to our next segment of the podcast, Games Time Baby, where we talk about stuff that we've been playing over the past month. And I'm going to start things off with two games that Kai and I both play together, and one of them is Castle Crashers, remastered on the Switch. We played it on Kai's stream, and I don't know about you, Kai, but I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, Newgrounds, it was made as like a Newgrounds thing originally, and it's always been good. It came out a long time ago, and it's always held up from what I know. It's always been like a very solid game, so getting the remaster on the Switch, playing it online, on the streams and all that kind of thing was really good fun.
Yeah, it was really good. It's really, like, when you look at the core game, there's not that much to it. You're just walking through little different environments, and you're just smashing up hordes of enemies with mostly using the same combos, so really it's, at its core, it's a very repetitive game, but it's got enough charm and fun to it that it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, it's just, even, trying out different ways you can, like, use the magic to get different combos you can use, or even trying out different weapons that don't change much, but they add little tweaks to it, and the animal friends, there's enough there that if you've got a group of friends together, especially if you're talking to each other in voice chat or in person, you're gonna have a good time with this.
Yeah, it's a nice casual game in a sense, and that's kind of a big selling point of it, because the story is kind of small. It's only like, what would you say, like no more than 10 hours.
Yeah,
campaign.
Pretty much. Yeah, about 10 hours.
An element of the fun of it comes in the replayability, the fact that there are a ton of characters. There's somewhere, I think, in the 20s, that amount of characters.
Yeah.
And you just unlock them from beating the campaign with other characters. You have different difficulties if you want to make it harder. And it's just meant to be one of those things where you've got all this variety in what you play as. And it kind of almost goes into the fighting game genre with that, how there's no real sort of campaign pushing you forward a lot of the time. It's actually just the fighting aspect of it that draws you in. Yeah,
exactly. And the thing is, even though like we beat all the story, if you were to say next stream, hey, we're gonna play Castle Crashers again, I would happily hop in and we'd all have a great time. It's infinitely replayable. So it's I will say the only thing is if you're playing single player, don't try the arenas, because it broke my soul. That was unfortunately my last memory of this game, and they just throw at you hordes of enemies. Not just enemies, hordes of the exact same enemy.
Damn.
And it gets to the point where they fill the screen and you're the only person there, and it's just ridiculous. But
it sounds fun.
You know what, Kai? I only rage quit after a little bit, so it could be worse.
Fair enough.
But that's just me being salty about one little bit of the game. Really, it's a massively fun experience. So,
right.
If you've got friends together, go for it.
Of course.
And the other game that we played together on our friend Be More Duck stream, so also go there, check it out. We played Among Us, and that game is something.
It's really fun.
It is.
I mean, I've always been a fan of both detective games and like mystery games, or social deduction, all of that kind of thing. Cause
that's because you're a filthy rotten liar, Kai.
Yes, that is why. No, but like Town of Salem, Push the Button, all of that. Like those games where you need to kind of work out who's lying, and that has always been fun to me. So this game just, I mean, it's not actually new. It's been out for like I think 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
But it's made a resurgence recently, and it's been great fun to play.
It really has, and it's great that it's so easily accessible. You can just download it on your phones for free, and it's not a hard game to get. So if you've got someone if you've got enough people to play it with, you just need 4 people ideally, and the more the merrier. It gets really interesting, and it also seems of course you can change the stuff yourself, but overall it seems pretty balanced. That it's never like one side has a complete advantage or anything. It can really go either way, and it can change at a heartbeat how the way the game's shifting. So
yeah, there's enough modifiers that you can make it balance no matter what. And I think another thing good about it is that in recent years, you know, people have been trying to make good social deduction games, but have kind of failed in the way that they make it too complicated because simple games wouldn't work for them. But this does have a very big sort of air of simplicity at its core. But then when you actually get into it, and you know, we've all been playing it as a group, developing as we go along, and you know, just the amount of improvements you make and the changes to become better, like, just adds layers at a very comfortable point, I feel.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you know, it's very easy to sort of ease into it, and then as you play it, you figure out more of the game's sort of complexities that you don't have to use, but if you want to use them, it's going to work in your favour.
Yeah.
But overall, even if you're using those and someone isn't, ultimately, if you make a mistake, someone can still find you. You know, you're never too overpowered, and it really does just a great job of just, you know, keeping you on edge, because it gets really tense when it gets to like 3 people and you don't know who the alien is, you know.
Yeah, especially when there's like complete ambience and all you can hear is your own sort of walking along the metal floor. It's real good.
It is, yeah. It's definitely one of them games that if you want to just get a few friends together, it's not hard to try out. So
yeah.
And also, I would say if you're trying out, play a few games, because it's sometimes, just by the nature of the game, sometimes you just get like killed off at the start and you don't get to do anything. But that's just part of the nature of the game. You give it a few games, not everyone's going to be like that. So
yeah, for sure.
It helps to definitely give it, I'm messing my words up here. If you're curious about it, give it a watch on like a stream or YouTube, because that's what I did. I watched you guys play it first, and then it allowed me to sort of understand it, to really enjoy it when I started. So
there's tons of people live streaming it and making videos on it online, so like there's all of those to check out, so go for it.
Definitely. And that's both games we played together. Have you got anything else you've been playing, Kai?
Well, one quick note to make is that I've already mentioned it, so I won't go into too much detail, but I've been spending a ton of time on RPG Maker MV.
Yes.
I've got over 200 hours at this point, and actually I'll check as we're doing the stream, the podcast. But yeah, I've been spending a ton of time playing on this, you know, working through things, trying to figure everything out, and it's really great fun, to be honest. I'm no expert, but just it's so fun being able to make your own stuff. There's a lot of options you can do. It's all very user friendly, so it's been really good to spend time on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to trying it out. You said you're like 80% done your the game you're working on now, so
I am, yeah. Let's just have a look real quick at how long I spent on it. 265 hours.
That's impressive.
I've spent more time on that than I have Xenoblade on the Switch.
I mean, I must say, on Discord, I often see, hey, Kai's online. Oh, he's playing RPG Maker. It's sort of become just a common expectant thing now. So
pretty much. But I guess the main thing for me to talk about, I've not done anything like played anything special this month apart from that. But I thought it would be a good time to talk about a couple of the different Wii games I've been doing on the live streams, because
yes,
Wii games are always fun, and I'm not going to be able to play a lot of them in the near future, so why not? Let's talk about them.
Go for it.
Just very quickly though, of course, because there's a couple of them. So, first off, Wii Music.
That's the best game of the year every year, so...
Enough said, Wii Music's great fun. It's very old and there's not a huge amount of options, but the fact that there's a lot of different instruments you can play and all these different songs, like you can play September, Daydream Believer, all of that sort of thing. You know, you can make your own little bands. It's terrifying.
It is. It's maybe it's not fun for the reasons that Nintendo wanted it to be, but it is still a lot of fun. You know, just getting a full chorus of dog voices to play September or something. You can't get that anywhere else. You know, it's a unique experience, and it's so funny.
It is, yeah. Oh man, that's great. The second thing is, I guess it's worth talking about. Star Trek Conquest is a small one I played. I haven't played it much, so I won't talk about it too much. But it's like a Risk style game. You have like your little troops that you build up and that kind of thing. And you just kind of, develop these troops, you take over other people's bases, all of that. And that's always fun. But again, not really much else to talk about there. For the Empire! That's the main appeal of it. I'm not even a Star Trek fan. But, it's still great fun. So.
Yeah, I mean, it looked interesting to play. It's been a long time since I played Risk, so I can't say I fully understood everything that was happening, but...
Yeah, it's good though, trust me.
Yeah.
I suppose the final thing that I will talk about is the main one for the Wii, which is Mario Strikers. This is going to be the big one. And, oh boy, man, I'm a huge fan of that game. So it's your classic. It's the sequel to the GameCube version of Mario Strikers. And it's got a couple of new things in. But man, Next Level Games are so good at bringing personality to what they do. Like every character has a built-in personality that they may not have had otherwise. Waluigi in particular is amazing. Even characters like Daisy have got everyone's got their own little themes. They've all got their little bits of music that they do.
They're pretty catchy, honestly.
Yeah, it's so good. And even the sidekicks, you've got sidekicks Birdo, Boo, Toad, Monty Mole, Dry Bones, and every single one has their own theme, their own sort of personality and their taunts and everything. And there's a lot of little details. For example, Boo's victory theme is like a version of the theme in... what's it called? Big Boo's Mansion or whatever in
Big Boo's
64.
Haunt, I think it is.
Yeah, that's the one from 64.
The little merry-go-round sort of thing that plays,
And it's like those little bits of detail added in, even like Pinatas as the fans in the background. Like, there's so much personality packed into this game. Not to mention that the gameplay is fun too. And we need a sequel on the Switch, man. We need it.
Well, they finished Luigi's Mansion 3, so maybe that's what they're working on. You never know.
So. It works so well.
Plus, Kai, they could add your favourite character, Rosalina, so, win-win, really.
Don't even get me started. Oh, man.
It sounds fun, though, yeah. I never played it, but I definitely, if I'm walking in CEX and I see it in store for like a 10 or something, I might have to pick it up now. You have sold me on it.
Yeah, the one issue it has is... the CPU are a bit odd. Like in the low levels, they're laughably easy, and then at the high levels, they straight up cheat.
I did get to watch your soul shatter on stream the other day a few times.
Yeah, but nonetheless, like the game's really fun with friends, especially.
I can imagine.
It's so good. The style is so unique, and I believe it is the best Mario game when it comes to personality. I don't think there is a single Mario game that gives more personality than this one.
Yeah, so. I mean, from the little I watched of you play, it definitely seemed that way. Waluigi in particular is something special,
Yeah, they're very good at what they do. So.
It's great. Yeah. Man, well that's cool. I guess my turn now, and
go for it.
Similarly to you, I'll briefly touch upon. I have still been playing Xenoblade 2, which I mentioned last time. Last month I just finished Torna, and now I'm pretty close to the end of the main game, and not much more to say. It's still an amazing story. It's great fun to play. Once you get to the point where you unlock 3 blades on everyone, there's a particular skill you can get on each driver where it allows you to cancel an art with another art, and once you get that, it basically you get into a rhythm of just going art, change blade, and it is like music. It is really fun to see, and it's very satisfying when you manage to pull it off correctly and get those.
Wait,
big
is it the
combos.
one I'm thinking of where you go sword bash, sword bash?
Double spinning edge, double spinning edge.
That's the one.
Yeah. Oh man, that's.
What chapter are you in now then?
I believe it's chapter 8. I am just about to make the climb, and
so you've done coffee with milk and all that.
Yeah, I've done that now, and cool. I'm just doing some side quests before I go to like the rest of the game. Sort of builds up very nicely towards the end, so I want to get all the side quests done now that I can. But yeah, it's been a joy to play. I think in some ways I do regret that I've burnt myself out a little bit on RPGs, playing like 5 of them in a row. But so in hindsight, maybe I should have taken a break. And, you know, I did take a little break for a certain indie game I'll get to in a little bit. But other than that, you know, it's still been a joy to play. The only thing I will say as well is I do miss some features from Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, noticeably quest tracking. I do miss that. That was such a great feature, and you know, it's kind of funny because I remember playing 2 for the first time and being like, man, the side quest tracking is so much better than 1, and it was. But now 1's gone and one-upped it again, so it's
yeah.
We just need Xenoblade 2 Definitive Edition now, so
yeah. Imagine if they did it this early. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would pay for a free. No, I'd pay for an update to the game that added it. You know, so it's that good a feature. But that aside, it's still a lot of fun, and you know, I've accepted the fact I'll never get Cosmos, but you know,
oh man, Cosmos.
I'm not brave enough to grind for that. So, but aside from that, which I'll be finishing that soon. But I have been playing A Short Hike, and man, that is. What a fantastic, charming game. It is. Indie games just have this ability to just reach you in this way that these big AAA games can't, and A Short Hike is the perfect example of that.
Yeah, I mean, indie games have the ability to take risks, don't they? So
yeah,
that's what they do, and this one seems to have sold really well from what I've heard.
Yeah, I've seen loads of people talking about it, and you know, when I saw it in the presentation, I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, but you know, I wasn't, you know, gonna go out and buy it. But then people kept saying about how good it was, and it was only a $5, which is, you know, really good price. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. And you know, it's a short game. It'll last about 5 hours, but man, those are great. Literally, yeah. So man, it's a great time for, you know, it doesn't matter what kind of gamer you are going to love every minute of this, because it is just filled with so much charm and personality. So if you're not aware, the sort of core concept of the game is, and I hear you getting messages there, Kai, Mr. Popular, you know.
Am I? I can't even hear them. Oh. I was so confused.
You're just flexing on us, are you there? So, alright, you're a friend, sure, yeah. Sorry, I'll continue.
Yeah.
Where was I? I got myself sidetracked there. I only have myself to blame. In case you're not sure what the game's about, it's basically done in this sort of Animal Crossing Wild World sort of visual style, with these animal characters, all very cutesy. And you play as just this bird called Claire, who's sort of staying at this it's sort of like a nature reserve island. And the main story is you just want phone reception. That's all you want. So the only way to get it is to climb to the top of the highest peak of the island, and that's what the game's about. It's just your hike up there. But really, it's not about the destination. It's about the little adventures you're going to have along the way. You're going to talk to different people. You do little quests for them, and indie games are known for having charming dialogue. That's sort of their thing. With games like you know, Undertale and Celeste even. And this game is no exception. It made me laugh out loud several times. You know, I don't want to give anything away, because you should absolutely try it for yourself and see those moments. But
yeah, I definitely will.
It's one of them games you want to talk to every NPC until they finish saying new dialogue, because they will often have new things to tell you, and they are full of charm. So
that sounds good.
And the way the game plays is you can just run around this island. You also, as a bird, you can glide, and if you manage to make a dive, you can build up speed, and you can get really fast. But to increase that, you need these items called golden feathers, which allow you to climb a little bit higher along walls. They allow you to get an extra flap of your wings, and also allow you to sprint later on. So doing quests basically gets you more of these golden feathers, which just increases your mobility of the island. So that's your incentive to talk to people and do the tasks. As well as how fun they are.
Yeah. The flight seems very smooth from what I've seen, like the gliding that you do like down a hill.
It really is, you know, because the island's a full circle, so you can sort of rotate around it, but it's still got several different layers to it. You know, there are a few points where the way the camera shifts, it does mess up your gliding a little bit, but it's not really much of a problem. And it's so great how your progression, once at the start of the game, you know, it'll take you like 20 minutes to get to one location. By the end of the game, you've got like 20 feathers and you can just glide there in 5 seconds. But it's that sense of progression that you continuously get better, and new options open up to you, and by the end of it, you can glide around the whole island basically. But that in itself is just fun. I could go back onto it right now and just glide for 10 hours, and
Fair enough.
It's one of the things where I don't want to give too much more because you need to experience it for yourself, really. But if you're in the mood for just a little charming game and you just want to feel good, you want to break from these big epic adventures to save the world, and you just want to feel good about yourself, play this game because you absolutely will.
Yeah, it does seem like that kind of relaxing vibe is just what people need at certain times. So it seems great. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. And it's up to you how much you do as well. You only need a certain amount of feathers to get to the top. But if you want to go out of your way and explore, you're going to be rewarded for it. So get this game. It's like £6. Get it. Just sell anything you need and you just get this game.
How much is it?
It's I think it was on sale for about £5. Now it's about £6, I think. I don't if it's not still on sale, but yeah. So definitely worth your time. I'll stop fanboying now. Always one. But have you had any other games you've been playing?
I think that's been pretty much it. Unless I forgot something, which I probably did.
Well, that's it for me too. So I think now we'll move on to our final section of the podcast. What's your stinking future? Which is usually where we talk about the next month of gaming. But this time we're going to go all in on the next few months of Mario, because they just did a massive blowout on Mario's 35th anniversary, and we've got a lot of games here to talk about. So if you're ready, Kai, we're just going to go through these one by one.
Sounds good, yeah, let's do it.
So the first of these things coming out on the 18th of September, which is very, very soon, is Super Mario 3D All-Stars, a collection of Mario 64, Sunshine and Galaxy coming to the Switch, and I'm hyped for it.
Yeah, it's really good to see those 3 games being on the Switch, because they're all really hype. So
yeah. I mean, I'm a little disappointed that it's been rumored for so long, because it was more of a like, there it is, than a big like whoa reveal. So
yeah.
But that's, you can't blame them for that exactly. Things happen, and I've played Mario 64 and Galaxy before, but the chance to play those again on a new console, slightly upscaled, is great. And I've never played Sunshine, so I'm really looking forward to finally getting to see what the deal is with that game, because it's quite divisive. So
I've never played Sunshine either, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. And a part of me is a little bit like, I wish they'd maybe made a few more updates to like Mario 64, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe adding in 64 DS, perhaps.
Yeah, that would have been so cool. I know people are mixed on that game, but I love all the features it has.
Yeah, the Rec Room mini games and being able to play as like 4 characters rather than just 1, and plus all of the new stars as well. Like, it was great.
Exactly, yeah. So it would have been nice to see, but people love the classic, and actually I watched the Game Explain post of the comparison, and how it's upscaled does actually look better than I expected. So when you compare it to the original.
Yeah, one thing I'm curious about is, again, 64 is very big on the speedrunning scene. It's one of one of the most popular speedrun games. So I'm curious if all of the glitches from the original are still there or not. If it's that direct of a port or not.
That's a good question.
There'll be a lot of stuff.
It seems like they're not really changing anything. Part of me wishes, they could surprise us. They could be, but part of me wishes they would make some slight changes, like fixing the camera in 64, which is fighting against you the entire game. It's your worst enemy in the game, pretty much. Or like, I know some people have complaints about tracking the blue coins in Mario Sunshine. So there's some things they could have made, and I don't think they have, but it would have been nice to see. But at the end of the day, getting 3 classic Mario games, iconic, for their generations, all in one place for £50, I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, those 3 games were like the 3 sort of big Mario 3D platformers on the 64, GameCube, and the Wii. Yeah. They were like the main 3. So having all of those on the Switch now is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and Sunshine and Galaxy in widescreen, which is nice. So and the soundtrack as well on the disc or cartridge. We've got all the music is going to be on there to listen to. So
Yeah.
it's just it's a nice way to celebrate the 35th anniversary. So and coming out 2 weeks, I did not expect that. So
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. I need to think about picking that up.
One thing I do want to mention, which goes a bit off of Mario, but with this coming out very soon, I thought this might be the big holiday game like December for them. And of course we've got this, and we've got Pikmin in October and a few other Mario stuff. That does leave space open for another big holiday game from Nintendo, so I do wonder what that will be.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense from a strategic point of view to do Christmas releases, so it is interesting that they've not highlighted anything just yet. Maybe they're waiting closer to that time to reveal something even bigger.
It could be something like, we know Bravely Default 2 is meant to be coming, but I'm not sure that's big enough on its own, so who knows what else they've got planned. But
yeah, even though development's been like restricted this year, I still feel like there's going to be one like big game they're preparing for December.
Hey, Pikmin Switch.
No. No.
That's just my trump card anytime I want to annoy Kai. Hey, Pikmin, you know?
Oh, no.
But moving on to continue with the Mario theme, the next game we have is on the 1st of October. We have Super Mario Bros. 35, a game coming to Nintendo Switch Online where, in the style of Tetris 99, 35 Marios, you hit enemies and send them to frustrate everyone else, and you just try to win the fastest. And what a creative idea, man.
Oh, it's so good. I mean, the Battle Royale series has been getting more and more popular as a genre over the last couple of years. You know, starting with games like sort of PUBG, Fortnite, and then the fact that it's been branching off from just rootin' tootin' shooting, like just going from that into other series like Tetris is kind of crazy, and into other things like that. Now going into the traditional Mario with this theme is really cool. The way they've implemented it with, defeating enemies and taking them to other people's screens, defeating enemies to get more points and trying to live the longest. Like, it's such a cool concept, man. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, like, who else would think of this other than Nintendo? That it's just it's one of those things where it's like how on earth does their brain work together to come up with this idea? And yet it be so perfect, you know.
I mean, there was an old thing. I don't remember the name of it, but it was like an MMO Mario thing. It was called where 100 or so people would be. It was on just like a laptop. I don't know if it is a online browser thing or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But 100 people would start 1-1, the traditional one, at the same time, and everyone else would be like a ghost. And everyone would affect each other. So, for example, only one person could get the star, or if one person hit the Koopa, although you couldn't interact with that other person, that Koopa would then go flying across the stage.
That is really cool.
And it was I think everyone only had one life, and whoever got to the end of 1-4 first wins. So that concept is already kind of there, but I feel like they've just improved on it here more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I'm the best at the original Mario Bros. It does, I think you mentioned this on your stream, it depends how it plays. Is it going to have the physics of the original Mario Bros, or is it going to be more updated like in Mario Maker? Because that will dictate how good I am at it. Quite a bit.
That momentum is the pure factor on whether or not either of us do well on it.
Yeah. You know, this could be my game where I do well, but it's all going to depend on that. So we'll see. But either way, it's a neat idea, and I'm definitely looking forward to giving it a shot. Shame it's only available till March, apparently, which is kind of baffling, but...
Yeah, that's weird, but who knows? They might change their mind or something.
Yeah, or bring it back for like an event or something. Hope we can dream. But I guess let's move on to the next thing, and these ideas just keep getting crazier, because on the 16th of October coming out, we have Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. A Mario Kart with a literal toy car that you play with. I can't even explain how this works. Just watch the video. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you have these little remote control car things with a camera on them, and you play looking at your Switch through the camera, and you're basically playing Mario Kart on your Switch, but what happens on that game affects the cars in real life.
Yeah, and you create your course. You have to move it through certain goalposts first to draw out your course, and then you can follow along that, even in multiplayer. And that is such a fun idea.
I think it's the most creative thing that came out of that Direct by far. It's
Yeah.
one of the most creative things Nintendo's ever done. It's
It
so
looks
good,
really
man.
fun.
Yeah.
I mean, being honest, personally, I'm not going to get it. Partially just because I don't think I would spend too much time on it. I think if I was a kid, I would have, but as an adult, I use the term adult loosely, but I probably wouldn't spend that much time on it. And also, more to the point, I don't think I have enough hard floor space to play this on. But I've got a lot of carpet in that, and mine would literally just be going around a tight circle, like Baby Park. So
Baby Park. Love
yeah,
Baby Park.
gotta love it. But
No.
it's and it's £100, you know. So there's other games I want to spend my money.
Wait, what?
on,
It's
but
£100?
It's £100.
I didn't know that. Oh my god.
You didn't?
Jeez. No. Oh
It's
man.
£100. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. My family wanted me to get it for them at Christmas. Oh god. I'm gonna be broke.
So Kai, you gonna get a job now?
Oh man, I mean the thing is, like, it's a really cool concept anyway. The thing I really
Yeah.
liked was how, you know, using a mushroom would speed up your car, and getting hit by a shell
Yeah.
would stop it crucially. Like the little details like that were amazing. So man, if I can find the money, who knows, I might get it.
Better start saving them pennies, Kai.
Straight up.
You've only got a month till it comes out, so
Oh man, that's a lot. It's a lot more than I thought it was, but who knows? It might be worth it.
yeah, I guess the technology behind it must be pretty impressive on some degree. So
Yeah.
I can kind of see why. But moving on, the next thing that we have coming is on the 13th of November. We've got a Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch, which it's a little Game & Watch that in colour that plays Mario Bros. And the Lost Levels, as well as some extra time some mini games and stuff, celebrating the 35th anniversary. And that's just a cool collector's edition. That's I know some people are going to really love this. So
Yeah, it's definitely more of a collector's thing than like a real sort of core gameplay item to get, but nonetheless it's really cool to see as a bit of merch in a sense, and also something that is usable. So yeah, it's nice to see it exist.
Those games are already playable on the Switch in like 50 different versions, so it's nothing big, the games themselves, but it's a neat collector's thing, and it looks like it's got some charm with like little, says it has 35 Easter eggs, which is going to be fun, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And it's already sold out in Nintendo UK, I should add. It's already gone, so
Wait, really?
I checked earlier on. I just checked to see the release date, and it's sold out, so
That's crazy.
unless they bring it back, which is possible, but it's still it's another one of them cool things that it's nice they're going all in for the 35th anniversary. So
Yeah.
but moving on, the final thing we have is that on the 12th of February, so going into next year, we have Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, which we all expected a 3D World to come to Switch at some point, I think. But this new gameplay mode interests me. That we don't know much about it, but I want to find out.
I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the Bowser's Fury bit, it reminded me much more of Odyssey than it did a 3D World. It looks just like an Odyssey world, you know, with the free roaming and just sort of the way it looks like the parkour would work.
Yeah.
So I was
really
really confused for a second. I was like, hang on, what's this for again? But no, it should be good. It should be good for sure.
Yeah, I mean, 3D World. Have you played 3D World before? Did you own it on the Wii U?
Yes, I had it on the Wii U, and I don't think I completed it, but I did get to the first Space World after beating the game.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I mean, it's, and as you can vouch for then, it is a really fun game. There's a lot of, the music is fantastic, the visuals hold up great on the Wii U even, and upgrading them slightly here is going to be cool. And it's just, I mean, I did 100% it, I finished Champions Road, I think it is. Yep. And that is one of my proudest accomplishments in gaming, because that is tough, man. That is tough. It is brutal. I can't even imagine trying to do it in multiplayer, jumping on each other's heads and everything. But
yeah, well, I think multiplayer is the thing that will draw a lot of people in again this time, because I'm guessing you'll be able to play with only one Joy-Con, as per a lot of the other multiplayer games on the Switch. So I think people are really going to enjoy that.
And they have mentioned it has online multiplayer. And
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
and I don't know if it's 100% that it is the campaign or if it could potentially be, you know, like a bonus mode. But assuming it is the campaign, that is a big deal, and I hope it runs well. I mean, we've seen Mario Maker 2, so I haven't got the highest of hope for that. But just the ability to play this game online with friends is going to be a game changer, and that could be the thing that sells me on rebuying it.
Yeah, there's going to be a huge amount of potential there for people to play out online with each other and have a lot of fun with it, so that should be good.
And also worth mentioning that people have noticed there's some details like they've increased the speed of the game so everything runs much faster.
Yeah, as well as that, yeah, that's really good.
Also, there's a new jump roll ability, which wasn't in the original, so you can like go from a jump into like a leap and a roll, which sounds really cool. So
yeah, that
it's
sounds
good to see they're not just making this a safe port; they're actually changing some things. And you know, Bowser's Fury, I can't wait to see more on that because what they've shown fascinates me. And
yeah,
more
on
of
the
that
topic
game
of
is always good.
yeah, on the topic of saying like it's similar to Mario Odyssey, actually, with the entire Direct, I was surprised they didn't mention anything about Odyssey because you know they've given 3D World a bit extra when they've ported it to the Switch, but there's been nothing extra for Odyssey since it came out apart from like the balloon mini game, and that's it.
Is Luigi not enough for you, Kai?
Luigi's great. He's a saint. But like, yeah, it seems weird that especially on the 35th anniversary they wouldn't do anything Odyssey based. It's
I mean, we all expected, I think, at first Super Mario Odyssey DLC, but the fact that that never panned out, I think they've got to be working on the 2.
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
just a matter of maybe it was going to be announced around now, but with, you know, everything in the world happening, it got delayed because it's quite possible that's the case.
Yeah,
that will be a bigger project than any of these things they've announced here, so it would make sense. They might have to hold off on it, but if that's coming, that's the game I want to play because the original was so fantastic. Even if it's just like Galaxy 2 where it's just more of the same, that's not a problem for me. Make that happen.
Yeah, so having nothing about Galaxy 2 or Odyssey in this sort of Direct isn't like a complaint or anything from me, and I don't think it is from you either. But you know, it's just something to note that there's been nothing from it yet, so we'll have to see how that might change in the future. Yeah,
I mean, if they want to keep the momentum going through Mario's anniversary, they could very well announce something next year, or even like March 10th is Mario Day, isn't it? So maybe,
yeah, exactly. So
maybe
who knows?
Odyssey 2. Yeah. But that's pretty much everything. There was a few extra bits like some Mario clothing stuff, a Mario Maker level, and a Animal Crossing Mario themed stuff, which is neat. About time they got some of that kind of stuff in the game.
Yeah.
You know, if they add Zelda stuff back into it for Zelda's 35th anniversary next year, that will get me back into Animal Crossing. I want my Master Sword. So, but that is pretty much everything we've got to say about it. So I think that's the podcast. Yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. Of course, we release these every month, so be sure to check out next month when we'll be talking about our opinions on these on this collection, because I'm guessing you'll be getting it too.
Yeah, I'll try to, definitely.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot to say, and hopefully it'll be a good one. Of course, thank you, Kai, for being my wonderful co-host as usual.
Thanks for having me.
If you'd like to tell them where they can find you at?
You can find me at twitch.tv/fastgrind. Link should be in the description.
Yeah, definitely give it a watch. He plays Wii Music, and that's the best game ever, so that should sell you right there. And of course, big thanks to Australian Sam for helping me with the logo and making the thumbnails. And he's probably going to be editing this one as well, and that will probably show, and that will be a much higher quality than the ones I've done. So I'm gonna be honest, he's probably much smoother at that, so it should turn out really well. And I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys then. Goodbye. Bye.